This right here is a MIDI foot controller that is battery powered and can be connected either with USB-C or with Bluetooth. It has over 12 hours of battery life. It also has an additional option for an expression pedal input on the top. There's an app that you can use to program what each of the buttons send. And on top of that, you can actually program when you press the button, it will send one set of MIDI commands. And when you hold press, it will send a different set of MIDI commands. I really wanted to find a MIDI foot controller that was battery powered and programmable, and someone recommended this to me a while ago. It's been working great over the last couple of years, and I figured I'd make a video about it. Nothing's paid. I bought this on my own. It's like $40 for this thing. It's incredible how well it works for $40. The app is actually worded very weird, and there's not a whole lot of instructions on how to use it. So I had to go through a little bit of trial and error to get it to work, but now I understand it, and hopefully I can show you how it works so you can make the decision if this is right for you and your needs. Also, at the end of the video, I am going to give one of these away to one of my subscribers, so consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed, and let's go ahead and get started. Before I start though, if you know nothing about MIDI programming, if you don't know what like a controller change is or a program change is, I highly recommend that you watch my beginner's guide to MIDI programming so that you understand what MIDI is. If you don't really understand MIDI, go watch that video and then come back and watch this video because you won't really understand the programming part if you don't understand just a few topics. So first I'm going to connect to it via Bluetooth. So flip it on. You can see it's completely battery powered. And then on your tablet, just connect to it like you would any other Bluetooth controller. It says foot controller. Once that's connected, you want to load up the Cube Suite app. Kind of an odd name, but it is what it is. And then hit scan nearby devices, and it should find it. Go ahead and click it. And now in here, this is where we're going to start programming it. So when you first open this, you're going to see there's a couple of different presets in here, like program change A, B, and so on and so forth. You can read up here what each of them do, but the one that I think most of you are going to be interested in is the advanced custom mode down here. So with this, I can program what each of the 4 buttons are going to send for MIDI information. So let's go ahead and click A, and I'm going to start programming foot switch A. I'm going to show you some of the modes here in a second, but let's just keep this simple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push this plus symbol right here, and I'm going to program a command that I want A to send. So I'm going to click this, and it gives me all of this information. What channel do I want to send MIDI information on? So let's say, for example, I want to send on MIDI channel 10. What type of command do I want to send? A program change, a control change, note on, note off, or sysx messages? So let's say I want to send program change. What program change do I want to send? I'm going to click here where it says data 1. It's kind of worded a little bit weird, like data 1, but this is what program change do I want to send? I'm going to send program change 20 on MIDI channel 10, and then I'm going to hit save. And now that A foot switch is going to send program change 20 on MIDI channel 10. I can also push plus again, and I can send something else at the same time. So let's program another one. Let's say on MIDI channel 4, I want to send a controller change this time. What is the controller change that I want to send? So let's say I want to send controller change 50. I'm going to program that here. And the second one, data 2, is the value. Again, I wish it was a little bit more clear in the way that it was worded, but that's what it is. So I'm going to send on channel 4, control change 50 with a value of 127, and I'm going to hit save. Let's do one more. I'm going to assign this one to send a note command on MIDI channel 16. I want to send note 50. Notes can be a little bit confusing. I'll put this graph up here. Some of them do like C-1. Other ones do notes by numbers. This is a handy chart that will help you out. And then the value is going to be 127. And I'm going to hit save. So now when I push the A button, it is going to send all 3 of these commands at once. And I can prove that to you using an app that I really like to use called MIDI Wrench. This is a fantastic app for monitoring your MIDI equipment. And you can see as I push the A button, you can see it brings up these 3 different commands that I programmed. Every time I push this A button, you can see that it brings up those commands, and it's showing me that it is sending all of those commands. Let's go ahead and go back, and let's program the same thing on B. And let's change one of the modes. And now that we've established what mode single step does, let's switch to a different one. So the one that I like to use is actually the bottom one. This one is short thread and then long press. So when I push on the A button, it sends one command, and then when I hold it, it's going to send another command. There's a couple of other ones. The second one is single step, switch between 2 banks. So when I step on it the first time, it'll send one command. The next time, it'll send another command, and it'll cycle between those. Third one is press down and release. So press down and then release are going to send 2 separate commands. And then long on, I don't know if anyone's ever going to use that. You can click this icon over here, and it'll tell you what they do. But the one that I'm interested in, and again, they word it so weird, short thread and then long thread, but this is a short press press and then a long press. So when I first push down on the B button, what do I want to send? I'm going to program that in A bank. When I hold it, what do I want to send? I'm going to program that in B bank. You can see I've already been messing around with this. I'm just going to delete this really quick. So on the A bank, push plus, and again, choose something that I want to send. On MIDI channel 16, I'm going to send a program change 30. Now when I hold it, what do I want to send? I'm going to send on MIDI channel 10, I'm going to send control change 70 with the value of 127. So opening MIDI wrench back up. So A is working like we want it to. It's sending those 3 commands, but watch what happens on B. Let me actually just clear this out. Watch what happens on B. When I push it, it sends the program change that I programmed it to do. And I can send that as many times as I want when I push it. But when I hold the button, you can see that it sends the control change that I programmed. So I get 2 separate commands, a press command and then a hold command, and it'll send 2 separate commands. Pretty cool. And then you can do the same thing on C. Click C, choose the mode that you want, and start programming it. Same with D. I think it makes sense now, but this also has an expression input. So you can program that by clicking this icon right here. When I click that, yours will likely be blank, but I'm going to push plus and I'm going to say, what command do I want to send with the expression pedal? The only thing that you can do here is control changes, which makes sense. But I'm going to choose the MIDI channel 10. What control change do I want to send? Let's say 100. And then, again, weird wording, loose value and step on value. So when I step on it all the way, I'm going to set it to 127. So it'll go from 0 to 127. I can also add another one in here as well. So just for the sake of the demo, let's say MIDI channel 16, control change 1 from 0 to 100. The value will go from 0 to 100. Loading back up, MIDI wrench. This is an absolutely dirt cheap expression pedal that I found on Amazon. I have a video going over this. It doesn't require any power, which is also nice that it pairs well with this. And I'm going to connect it to the controller in the pedal input. You do want to make sure that you use a TRS cable, not a TS cable. It likely won't work if you use a TS cable. It depends, but if you do have issues, switch to a TRS cable. I will also link to one down below. And as I move the pedal, you can see that it sends different commands, and it sends both of them on MIDI channel 10 and on MIDI channel 16. When I push it all the way down, well, there's an issue. It goes to a value of 0, and then when I move it back, it goes to a value of 127. So all I'd have to do is go back into Cube Suite and reverse those. So I would switch loose value and step on value, but you get the idea with the demo. Pretty cool that you also have an expression pedal to use with this $40 battery-powered MIDI controller. Okay, so now I'm going to actually demo how I use this with stage tracks. So this is the one that I've been demoing. This is the one I'm going to do a giveaway on. This is the actual one that I use, and I specifically wanted to show you, look how beat to hell this thing is. This thing has had dirt and beer and whiskey and everything spilled on it. I will clean this, but I did want to show you that it has seen some things. Great build quality, because this has been through a lot of stuff live. But this is the way that I have it programmed. I use Stage Tracks 3 personally. I have a 4-part video series on this app. It is such a fantastic app. Check it out if you're interested. Video 3 specifically goes over how to MIDI program Stage Tracks. Watch that video if that's what you're interested in, but I'm going to show you just how I use this personally live with my setup. So the A button will play, and then if I hold it, it will stop it. So here's play. 24 karat magic. And then hold to stop it. The reason why I wanted it to have separate play and then stop is I don't want to accidentally step on it and stop a song in the middle of the set. This second button I use to switch between autoplay. So when autoplay is enabled, it will go straight into the next song. And if I don't want that, I'm going to push it. And this is where we're going to talk to the crowd or change guitars or whatever. If I hold B, it will actually remove this side panel right here that shows the set list, and I can see the lyrics a lot better. Hold it again, and it brings it back. C is what I use to restructure the sets. Right now, it's 24 Karat Magic into Achy Breaky Heart. But if I push this button, you can see it, I'll actually scroll through. So say I want to do 3 a.m. instead. I push the C button to cycle through the songs. I can keep pushing it, and it'll cycle to whatever I need. But then when I want to move that song to the front, I can actually hold it, and it'll put that song next. While the song is going, I can actually go down here, and I can hold it, and I can put 500 miles next as well. So this one is more my organization. D, I actually use to scroll the lyrics. I never need to scroll up, so I just have it just as scroll down half page. If for some reason I go too far, I just use my hands to swipe back up. And if I hold D, what's really cool about stage tracks, let me fast forward to a certain part in the song. If I want to loop, say, for example, this chorus, I can hold D. Now, I do have to program where these changes are. That's something I go over in my video series. But you can see there's this loop icon. So what happens now, when this part of the song is done, instead of going to the next part, it'll just loop. Chorus. So see, it just loops that section over and over again until I hold it in order to disable it. I use this all the time for my solo sets if I want to extend solos and stuff like that. Really, really helpful. Anyway, that's how I use this with stage tracks, but feel free to use it in whatever way makes sense for you. And do keep in mind, you also can connect this via USB to like my iPad or something like that. I'm going to turn off Bluetooth on my iPad, and you can see that it still controls stage tracks with a wired connection. So for the most part, I pretty much use this with Stage Tracks 3, and it's worked flawlessly over the last couple of years. And like I showed you, it's been through the fires of live shows and bars and stuff like that. It's survived for a long time. I do have another app that I use. It's called My Lyric Book. It's basically just where I just store every PDF that I get anytime I play with any band or fill-in or anything like that. So I just have every chart that I've ever done in there. And I'll use this also to scroll lyrics in that app as well. I have had it disconnect a few times from that app. I'm curious why it disconnects from that app, but not from Stage Tracks. Stage Tracks, it's been flawless. If you know why that would happen based on the app, let me know in the comments down below. I'm definitely curious as to why that would happen. It's not very often, but just want to give full disclosure, sometimes it doesn't always stay connected to that app. It is a very basic MIDI controller. If you need more from a MIDI controller with more advanced stuff, I did review the MIDI Captain as well as the Graviton 2 by Luminite. There's a ton more that those pedals can do. So if you need more stuff, check out my videos on both of those. I actually use that Luminite pedal to control my lights using Maestro DMX. So if you're interested in how I use Maestro DMX to control my lighting, check out my video on Maestro. It's pretty cool how I can control my lights with MIDI Live with that. And then the MIDI Captain can be battery powered with AA batteries as well. So if you do need more options, check out my videos on those. But for me, I basically just needed 8 total controls. I only really needed 7, but the 8th one is really nice. And I needed it to be battery powered, Bluetooth, and as tiny as possible. So this one's working really well for Stage Tracks. And if you found that this is right for you, there are purchase links down below in the description, or you can use the QR code on your screen. Again, it's like $40 for this thing. It's quite a good deal, and hopefully you guys have found this video helpful. Also, it does appear that they've released a new version since I've gotten this one. I'll link to that one down below as well. I don't see a huge difference except for the USB-A host port, but either way, the new model will be linked down below as well. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I am going to do a giveaway to one of my subscribers for this exact pedal right here. So consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed. And then to enter the giveaway, you just have to leave a comment down below using the magic phrase. You can say whatever you want in the comment section, just as long as at some point you say the magic phrase, Foxy Shazam. One of my favorite bands. I love them. Apparently, most of these giveaways are just me sharing what some of my favorite bands are. The band's touring again. I love this band. Check them out. Really unique show. You got to see them live. The album is still good, but you got to see them live. They put on a crazy show. But that is the magic phrase for this week. You only have 24 hours to enter the giveaway, and I will announce the winner on this date right here. Please remember, do not respond to scammers. Sometimes scammers will show up when I do giveaways. I will never message you and ask you for money in the comment section for shipping or anything like that. If anyone messages you, says that they're me, and they start asking you for money, that is 100% a scammer. Please do not fall for it. Also, if any of you live in Europe, in any of these countries, be sure to come by and see me on tour at the following dates in these countries right here. Would definitely love to meet some of you in person if you live in some of these countries. 2 other videos I'm going to check out if you are interested in how this is my pedal board for my guitar. That's possible with something called the GTRS guitar by Moore. Pretty wild. This is what controls my guitar. And then this is what controls my track. So this is literally my setup that's on the floor in front of me. Pretty cool stuff. Check out my video on that if you're interested. And also check out the video on the Luminite M2 MIDI controller. If you need more from your MIDI controller, that one's definitely worth looking into. And again, that's the one that I use to control Maestro DMX lighting. You can check out both of those videos by clicking the links on your screen now. Thank you guys again for watching. If you have any other cool gear that you want to check out, please leave them as a comment down below. Don't forget to follow me on my social media pages at Scott Yule Music. I'm trying to post a little bit more on other platforms as well. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.